The Galactic Council sneered as reports came in of yet another primitive species achieving FTL travel. The so-called humans would soon learn their place, like all the other pathetic races. For they pose no threat. Look how crude their ships are, scoffed Zorgon Ambassador Xarox, gesturing at the holographic scans. Savages, we'll establish dominion swiftly. Nods of agreement from the others. Venlaxian warships were dispatched to the Sol system within the hour, plasma cannons primed. Earth's new space fleet didn't stand a chance. The alien ships exited hyperspace on the outskirts of the solar system. Admiral Cruxor stood on the bridge of the dreadnought, watching the blue-green planet grow larger on the view screen. The invasion would be bloody but brief. Humanity's primitive weapons were no match for Venlaxian might. The Admiral was just about to give the order to advance when the Sensors officer shouted in alarm, "Sir, human ships coming in fast." "What? Show me." Cruxor narrowed his eyes at the readout. A massive swarm of glinting silver specks approached from the direction of Earth, thousands of ships. Maybe tens of thousands, far more than the humans should have. It must be a sensor glitch. They can't possibly have a fleet that size. The Admiral barked, even as unease twisted in his stomach. Alarms blared. The human fleet opened fire while still out of range. Impossible. Waves of missiles streaked towards the invasion force, and Cruxor realized in that moment that the Galactic Council had badly underestimated the humans. This fight would be neither easy nor quick. As the first thermonuclear blast slammed into his shields, Admiral Cruxor wondered glumly if he would survive long enough to regret this foolish incursion. The human counterattack had begun. The aliens were about to learn what shock and awe truly meant. Captain James Hawkins stood on the bridge of the UESF Intrepid, his eyes fixed on the holographic display that showed the unknown alien fleet entering the solar system. His hands gripped the railing tightly as he watched the ships move closer to Earth with each passing second. "Captain, we're being hailed by the lead ship," the communications officer reported. Hawkins nodded. "Put it through." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a grotesque alien face with bulbous eyes and a twisted mouth. "I am Admiral Cruxor of the Galactic Council. Your planet is now under our jurisdiction. Prepare to be boarded." Hawkins narrowed his eyes. "This is Captain James Hawkins of the United Earth Space Force. You have entered our space without permission. We do not recognize your authority here." Cruxor laughed, a grating sound that echoed through the bridge. "Your primitive species has no say in the matter. The Galactic Council has deemed humanity unfit to govern itself. You will submit to our rule or face the consequences." Hawkins clenched his jaw. "We will not surrender our sovereignty to anyone, least of all to a bunch of alien bullies. I suggest you turn your ships around and leave our system immediately." The Admiral's face contorted with rage. "You dare defy us? You have no idea the power we wield. We will crush your pathetic fleet and take what is rightfully ours." "You're welcome to try," Hawkins retorted. "But humanity will not go down without a fight. We've faced threats before and emerged stronger. We will do so again." Cruxor leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with malice. "Then prepare for war, Captain. We will see how long your bravado lasts when your cities burn and your people die screaming." The transmission cut out abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Hawkins took a deep breath and turned to his crew. "Sound the alarm. We need to mobilize every available ship and weapon, contact Earth Command, and inform them of the situation. We need to coordinate our defense strategy." As the crew scrambled to carry out his orders, Hawkins felt a sense of dread settle in his stomach. He had no doubt that the alien fleet was technologically superior to anything humanity possessed, but he also knew that humans had a long history of defying the odds and emerging victorious against seemingly insurmountable foes. He thought of the billions of lives on Earth, blissfully unaware of the threat that loomed above them. Men, women, and children going about their daily lives, oblivious to the fact that their very existence hung in the balance. He thought of his own family back home, his wife and young daughter who he had promised to return to. Hawkins straightened his shoulders and gazed out at the stars. He would do whatever it took to protect them, even if it meant sacrificing his own life. Humanity had come too far to be subjugated by an alien race with delusions of grandeur. The UESF fleet began to assemble, ships of all sizes and configurations taking up defensive positions around Earth. Fighters launched from hangar bays, their pilots ready to engage the enemy at a moment's notice. On the surface, anti-aircraft batteries and missile silos were prepped and aimed skyward. Humanity was ready for war, and they would not go quietly into the night. They would fight with every ounce of strength and courage they possessed, and they would show the Galactic Council the true meaning of human resilience. As the alien fleet drew closer, Captain James Hawkins stood resolute on the bridge of the Intrepid, his eyes fixed on the approaching storm. Come what may, he would stand firm in the face of the enemy, a bastion of hope and defiance against the darkness that threatened to engulf them all. The bridge of the UESF Intrepid shook violently as the alien ships unleashed a barrage of plasma fire. Consoles sparked and crew members stumbled, but Captain Hawkins remained steadfast at his post. "Evasive maneuvers," he shouted over the chaos. "Divert power to the shields and return fire." The Intrepid banked hard to starboard, narrowly avoiding a salvo of missiles. Its own weapons systems came to life, launching a volley of kinetic projectiles and energy beams at the nearest Zorgon cruiser. The alien ship's shields flickered under the onslaught, but held firm. Hawkins gritted his teeth. The aliens had caught them off guard with their sudden attack, striking at Earth's defenses with ruthless precision. Major cities were already burning, their once proud skyscrapers reduced to rubble. Military bases lay in ruins, their personnel scrambling to mount a defense against the overwhelming force. But the UESF refused to go down without a fight. Across the globe, human ships and fighters engaged the alien fleet in a desperate battle for survival. Explosions lit up the sky as vessels on both sides were torn apart by weapons fire. On the Intrepid's viewscreen, Hawkins watched as a Krillic battleship bore down on them, its massive hull bristling with gun batteries. He knew that a direct confrontation would be suicide, but he had a plan. "Helm, bring us about," he ordered. "Engineering, divert all power to the engines. We're going to make a run for it." The crew hesitated for only a moment before carrying out his commands. The Intrepid surged forward, accelerating to maximum velocity as it wove through the chaos of the battlefield. The Krillic ship gave chase, its weapons hammering at the human vessel's shields. Hawkins waited until they were within range, then gave the order, "Fire the EMP!" A pulse of electromagnetic energy erupted from the Intrepid's aft section, washing over the Krillic ship in a blinding flash. Its systems went haywire, engines sputtering, and weapons falling silent. The human ship seized the opportunity, unleashing a full broadside that tore through the alien vessel's weakened shields and hull. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface as it listed to one side, venting atmosphere and debris. Cheers erupted on the Intrepid's bridge, but Hawkins knew that the battle was far from over. Reports were coming in from all over Earth, painting a grim picture of the situation on the ground. Alien troops had landed in force, engaging human defenders in brutal street-to-street fighting. Casualties were mounting on both sides, but the aliens' superior technology was giving them the edge. Admiral Cruxor's face appeared on the viewscreen, contorted with rage. "You humans have proven to be more troublesome than we anticipated," he snarled, "but your resistance is futile. Even now, our forces are marching across your world, crushing all who stand in our way. Surrender now and we may show mercy." Hawkins met the Admiral's gaze unflinchingly. "We will never surrender to the likes of you," he declared. "Earth will fight to the last man, woman and child. We will make you pay for every inch of ground you take." Cruxor's eyes narrowed. "So be it. You have sealed your fate, Captain. Prepare to watch your world burn." The transmission cut out, and Hawkins turned to his crew. "We can't win this battle alone," he said grimly. "We need to find a way to even the odds." He brought up a holographic display of the alien fleet, studying it intently. "There," he said, pointing to the largest ship at the center of the formation. That must be their command vessel. If we can get aboard and gather intelligence on their technology and weaknesses, we might have a chance. The crew exchanged uncertain glances, but Hawkins pressed on. I know it's a long shot, but it's our best hope. We'll need to put together a strike team and infiltrate the ship under the cover of the battle. It won't be easy, but I believe we can do it. He looked around at the faces of his crew, seeing the determination and courage in their eyes. They were ready to follow him into the jaws of death itself, if that's what it took to save their world. Let's get to work, Hawkins said, his voice ringing with resolve. We have a planet to save. As the Intrepid plunged back into the fray, Hawkins couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope amidst the darkness. Humanity had faced impossible odds before and had always found a way to triumph. They would do so again, no matter the cost. The aliens had picked a fight with the wrong species, and they were about to learn that lesson the hard way. Explosions rocked the alien command ship as Captain Hawkins and his strike team fought their way through the vessel's winding corridors. Plasma bolts sizzled through the air, met by the steady crack of human assault rifles. The boarding party moved with precision, covering each other as they advanced deeper into the heart of the enemy stronghold. We need to find the ship's central database, Hawkins shouted over the din of battle. It's our best chance of uncovering any weaknesses in their technology. Sergeant Reeves, a grizzled veteran of countless battles, nodded grimly. Roger that, Captain. I'll take point. The team pushed forward, cutting down alien defenders with ruthless efficiency. They reached a massive blast door, sealed tight against intrusion. Corporal Jansen, the team's tech specialist, stepped forward and attached a hacking device to the door's control panel. Give me a minute, Captain, she said, her fingers flying over the device's keypad. Their encryption is tough, but I should be able to crack it. Hawkins kept watch, his rifle at the ready. He could hear the sounds of fighting echoing throughout the ship, a reminder of the desperate battle being waged outside. Earth's fate hung in the balance, and he knew that every second counted. With a hiss of hydraulics, the blast door slid open, revealing a cavernous chamber filled with pulsing computer banks and holographic displays. Hawkins and his team moved in, their eyes wide with astonishment. I've never seen anything like this, Reeves muttered, his gaze sweeping over the alien technology. It's light years beyond anything we have. Jansen made a beeline for the central computer, her hacking tools already in hand. I'll see if I can access their database. Cover me. As the team took up defensive positions, Hawkins studied the holographic displays. One in particular caught his eye, a schematic of the alien fleet, with glowing lines connecting each ship to a central hub. That's it, he breathed. Zeronium. Their ships are powered by a rare energy source. If we can disrupt their supply lines, it could cripple their ability to fight. Jansen looked up from her work, a grin spreading across her face. I'm in, Captain. I've got access to their entire database, downloading now. Hawkins felt a surge of hope. With this intelligence, they could turn the tide of the battle. He opened a comm channel to the Intrepid. Intrepid, this is Captain Hawkins. We've uncovered a critical weakness in the alien fleet. They rely on a rare energy source called zeronium to power their ships and weapons. I'm transmitting the coordinates of their supply lines now. Target those vessels with everything we've got. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Commander Singh received the transmission with a nod of satisfaction. Acknowledged, Captain. We'll make those supply ships our top priority. Good work. As the strike team fought their way back to the extraction point, the Intrepid and other human ships began their assault on the zeronium transports. Missiles and energy beams slammed into the lightly armored vessels, causing catastrophic chain reactions that lit up the void of space. On the ground, human forces adapted to the changing situation with the tenacity and ingenuity that had defined their species for millennia. They captured alien weapons and reverse-engineered them, turning the aliens' own technology against them. They employed hit-and-run tactics, striking hard and fading away before the enemy could respond. In the streets of New York, a squad of human soldiers took cover behind the ruined remains of a skyscraper. Private Rodriguez, clutching a salvaged alien plasma rifle, peered around the corner at the advancing Zorgon troops. "Steady," Lieutenant Kim whispered. "Let them get closer. We'll hit them with everything we've got." As the aliens drew near, the humans opened fire, the plasma bolts tearing through the enemy ranks with devastating effect. The Zorgons returned fire, but the humans were already on the move, disappearing into the labyrinth of rubble and debris. Across the globe, similar scenes played out as humanity clawed its way back from the brink of defeat. The aliens, once confident in their superiority, found themselves on the defensive, their ships falling from the skies and their ground forces pushed back block by bloody block. In orbit, Admiral Cruxor watched in disbelief as his fleet crumbled before his eyes. The loss of the Zeronium supply ships had been a crippling blow, and the humans had exploited it mercilessly. His grand invasion, meant to subjugate an inferior species, had turned into a nightmare of fire and blood. Captain Hawkins and his team, having escaped the alien command ship, rejoined the Intrepid in orbit. As they watched the tide of battle turn in humanity's favor, Hawkins felt a sense of grim satisfaction. The aliens had underestimated the human spirit, the unbreakable will to survive and fight against all odds. Earth, battered but unbroken, had shown the galaxy the true meaning of human resilience. The war was far from over, but for the first time since the invasion began, victory seemed within reach. Humanity would not go quietly into the night, would not vanish without a fight. They would stand, they would struggle, and they would win, no matter the cost. The Intrepid, its hull scarred by the fires of battle, turned its guns on the remaining alien ships, a symbol of human defiance against an implacable foe. The fight for Earth, for the very future of the human race, raged on, and Captain James Hawkins knew that he and his crew would be at the forefront, leading the charge to victory. The bridge of the Zorgon flagship was in chaos. Alarms blared and sparks flew from damaged consoles as the ship shuddered under the relentless assault of the human fleet. Admiral Cruxor gripped the arms of his command chair, his knuckles pale with rage and frustration. "Status report!" he barked. His tactical officer, a spindly Kryllik with twitching antennae, looked up from his screen. "Our Zeronium reserves are nearly depleted, Admiral. The human attacks have crippled our supply lines. We're down to less than 20% power across the fleet." Cruxor slammed his fist against the armrest. "Impossible. These primitives should have been crushed beneath our heel cycles ago." The view screen flickered, displaying the grim reality of the battle outside. Zorgon and Kryllik ships listed and burned, their hulls riddled with holes from human weapons fire. The once mighty alien armada was in disarray, their formation shattered, and their numbers dwindling with each passing moment. Cruxor's eyes narrowed as he watched the UESF Intrepid weave through the chaos, its guns blazing. The human ship moved with a grace and agility that belied its size, dancing around the clumsy alien vessels like a boxer around a lumbering opponent. "That ship," Cruxor growled. "That damned Hawkins, he's been a thorn in our side since the beginning." The tactical officer cleared his throat nervously. "Admiral, we've lost contact with the ground forces. The humans have pushed them back on all fronts. They're using our own technology against us." Cruxor's face contorted with rage. He had underestimated the humans, had dismissed them as weak and primitive. But they had proven to be far more resilient and resourceful than he ever could have imagined. He turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare the orbital bombardment. Target their major population centers. We'll burn their cities to ash and break their will to resist." The weapons officer hesitated. "But Admiral, our ships are already low on power. A bombardment of that scale could leave us vulnerable." Cruxor's eyes flashed dangerously. "I don't care. I will not be defeated by these savages. Do as I command." As the weapons officer rushed to comply, the Intrepid's image suddenly filled the view screen. Hawkins' face appeared, his expression grim and determined. "Admiral Cruxor, this is Captain James Hawkins of the UESF Intrepid. I demand your immediate surrender." Cruxor sneered. "Surrender? To the likes of you?" I think not, human. We will scour your world clean of your filth and claim it as our own. Hawkins' eyes narrowed. You've lost, Cruxor. Your ships are crippled, your ground forces in retreat. End this now before more lives are lost. Never, Cruxor roared. We will never bow to your kind. Prepare to watch your cities burn. The view screen went blank as the flagship's weapon systems powered up. Cruxor leaned forward in his chair, a manic gleam in his eyes. Fire the bombardment. Lay waste to their world. But before the order could be carried out, the ship shuddered violently. Cruxor was thrown from his chair as explosions ripped through the bridge. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks, and the lights flickered and died. Report! Cruxor shouted, struggling to his feet. The tactical officer, his face bloodied and his uniform torn, stared at his screen in disbelief. It's the Intrepid, sir. They've hit our zeronium core. We're losing power rapidly. Cruxor's eyes widened in horror. That's impossible. Our shields were at full strength. They found a weakness, sir. A fluctuation in our energy matrix. They exploited it with pinpoint accuracy. The ship shuddered again, more violently this time. Cruxor stumbled, grabbing onto his chair for support. The bridge was filled with smoke and the stench of burning circuitry. On the viewscreen, the Intrepid loomed large, its weapons glowing with deadly intent. Hawkins' face appeared once more, a look of grim triumph on his features. Last chance, Cruxor. Surrender now, or we'll finish this. Cruxor snarled, his face twisted with hatred. Never. I will die before I surrender to you, human. Hawkins' eyes narrowed. So be it. The viewscreen went blank, and moments later the flagship shuddered one final time. Explosions tore through its hull, and the once mighty vessel began to break apart. Cruxor was thrown across the bridge, his body slamming into a bulkhead with sickening force. As he lay there, his vision fading, he could see the remnants of his fleet fleeing, their ships scattering like leaves before a storm. The humans had won, and the Galactic Council's arrogance had been their undoing. With his last breath, Cruxor cursed the humans and their infuriating resilience. They had proven to be a force to be reckoned with, a species that would not bend or break in the face of adversity. And as the flagship exploded in a blinding flash of light, the balance of power in the galaxy shifted forever. Humanity had emerged victorious, and the Galactic Council would never again underestimate the strength and resolve of Earth and its people. On the bridge of the Intrepid, Captain Hawkins watched as the alien flagship disintegrated, its remains scattering across the void. The bridge crew erupted in cheers and applause, their faces beaming with pride and relief. Hawkins allowed himself a small smile. They had done it. Against all odds, they had defeated the alien invaders and saved Earth from subjugation. He turned to his communications officer. Open a channel to Earth Command. Let them know that the alien threat has been neutralized. As the officer complied, Hawkins's thoughts turned to the future. The war had changed everything. Humanity had proven itself to be a formidable power in the galaxy, and the Galactic Council would have to take notice. The viewscreen flickered to life, and the image of Admiral Jameson, the head of Earth's defense forces, appeared. The older man's face was lined with worry, but his eyes sparkled with hope. Captain Hawkins, you've done it. You've saved us all. Hawkins nodded. It was a team effort, Admiral. Every man and woman in the UESF played their part. Jameson smiled. Indeed, and now we must look to the future. The Galactic Council has proposed a truce, and they wish to open negotiations with Earth. Hawkins raised an eyebrow. A truce after everything they've done? They've realized their mistake, Captain. They gravely underestimated us, and now they seek to make amends. They wish to acknowledge Earth as an equal member of the galactic community. Hawkins considered this for a moment. It was a tempting offer, but he knew that trust would have to be earned on both sides. Very well, Admiral. I'll represent Earth in the negotiations, but we must be cautious. The Council has shown their true colors, and we cannot let our guard down. Jameson nodded. Agreed, but this is a new beginning, Captain. a chance for humanity to take its rightful place among the stars. As the communication ended, Hawkins turned to his crew. They looked at him with a mixture of pride and determination, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. "Set a course for Earth," he ordered. "We have a lot of work to do." The Intrepid turned, its engines flaring to life as it began the long journey home. The war had been won, but the struggle was far from over. Humanity had emerged as a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never be the same. Captain Hawkins stood tall on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the stars ahead. He knew that the road ahead would be long and difficult, but he also knew that humanity would face it with the same courage and determination that had carried them through their darkest hour. For now, he allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. They had done the impossible, and they had done it together. And as the Intrepid sailed through the void, he knew that the future was bright, and that humanity's greatest adventures were yet to come. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.